Hi everyone, my name is Brett Dunn and I'm with DesignPoint. Laura and I today are going to spend a few minutes to describe a little bit more about our client strategy initiative here at DesignPoint and some of the tools that we use, specifically the assessment tool. So let's start with what is client strategy? Well, client strategy for us is just a new level of engagement as an option to our customers. So we've been selling, supporting, and training SolidWorks and SolidWorks products for over 20 years. We've done that at a very high level. We're very proud of the fact that we've been ranked #1 in customer satisfaction 4 times in North America. We will continue to do that. And in addition to that, we're going to offer this new level of engagement that we call client strategy. So we're not just looking for big companies, we're looking for any company of any size that's trying to do big things, really try to disrupt the market, make big changes in technology, make big decisions, reinvent manufacturing, reinvent engineering processes and systems, that sort of thing. Okay, so some examples of that are companies that are trying to get more from their existing investments. For example, maybe they already have SolidWorks and PDM, or maybe another kind of CAD software. Maybe they have 3D printers already, but they're trying to figure out how to leverage that investment to get ahead of the competition. In some cases, companies are trying to figure out how to get more from their existing teams. So there's a focus on systems and processes and inefficiencies and skill gaps and things like that. We can help with all of that. And in a lot of cases, companies have now a lot of the right tools, but in some cases, these tools aren't working very well together. So there's an opportunity there for integration that might afford us some efficiency gains. We've developed some tools over the years that help us engage with our clients. And this is an example of one of them. This graphic here shows the process by which we engage with our clients. And I'm going to invite you to, if you ever see us stray from this, call us out on it, because this is exactly how we should engage with every client all of the time. It always starts on the left here with seek to understand. We don't just jump into demos. We don't just start leading with product and services and solutions until we, in our minds, understand your current state, and even more importantly, understand what your goals are. When we understand where you're at today and where you want to go tomorrow, and if we believe that we have solutions available to help you achieve those goals, then and only then do we move to the educate and demonstrate phase. At that point, then we're actually doing proof of concept, right? We're showing you or talking you through what our solutions might look like to determine with your help whether those are the right solutions for you. And then if we're all in agreement that we found the right solution or solutions, then we move to make it happen. This is the execution phase. This is where we not only build the plan, but execute the plan. And after that, we have this successibility loop where we measure, update, and educate, and stay in that cycle of constant kind of monitoring of the system to make sure that we're getting from the investment what we plan for. Okay, so again, this is the way it should always feel. If it doesn't, again, please call us out on it. But this is definitely the way that we want to work with you. And in doing so, we have a lot of confidence that we'll not only deliver the right solutions, but achieve the outcomes that you're looking for. This will help us not only continue to grow like we have thus far, but continue to grow into the future with your help. Both DesignPoint will grow and you will grow. So let's talk more about Seek to Understand. One of the tools that we've developed for this phase of the engagement is called a letter of understanding. The letter of understanding is an email that follows our initial discovery meeting. So picture we have an initial discovery meeting with you with all the right stakeholders. We start to uncover some areas of improvement. What we do is in our follow-up email, we put that information into this table. When you receive the email from us, 2 columns are filled out, the critical business issue column and the potential solutions column. When you receive it from us the first time, priority, timeline, and next steps are blank. Okay, so picture you receiving an email as a follow-up that says that Here's an issue that you'd like to solve. We call it a critical business issue, right? Some problem that we want to try to solve. This is just documenting what we talked about in the meeting, okay? You said this, not us. You said you would like to solve this problem, and we said that we think we have a solution, and it looks something like this, okay? Another example might be not a problem to solve, but an opportunity to go after. You believe that there's an opportunity to bring new product to market, to get ahead of your competitors, to redesign a current product in a way that will lower the cost and increase the number of transactions per year and ultimately grow your business. Whatever it is, we document it and how we think we can help. And then we send the email to you and we ask you to give us feedback. That feedback is for this problem that you said you have and the potential solution that we have to offer, is this a high, medium, or low priority? And in what time frame? You might say this problem is a low priority and the time frame is never, as an example. Okay. You might say this opportunity that we've identified in the solution that we believe we have to offer is a high priority and the time frame is now or next quarter. Okay. This is 100% your feedback. You're driving the bus. Okay. All we're doing again in this letter of understanding is trying to document what we believe we heard, explain to you how we can help, and then get your feedback with respect to the priority timeline, and then we figure out what the next steps might look like. Okay, so again, this is a tool that we use in the discovery phase. Let's assume we get past that and we determine that there's bottlenecks or inefficiencies or opportunities to go after, but we really need a deeper technical understanding of those problems or opportunities in order to recommend a real solution. In that case, we often reach for this tool, which is what we call an assessment or your engineering transformation. Okay, this document, and we'll be happy to send this to you as a follow-up, basically illustrates that when we go out and meet with clients that are engineering and manufacturing companies, there's three things that we hear almost every single time. At least one of these things comes up during the discovery. Number one, time constraints. There's just not enough time. We're under the gun constantly, right? Number two, there's too many slow and manual processes that have probably been around for a long time that we've just never had the chance to solve or fix or improve because of number one. We're too busy to actually relook at our internal systems and processes and really do much about them. So we keep living with those systems and processes, which are slowing us down, resulting in number one, actually. And then number three, a lot of times you have the right tools. Maybe you've invested in SolidWorks and PDM and simulation and what have you, but not everybody's using the tools to their fullest potential, or the system's not optimized for your environment. Some combination of those things. The bottom line is you've got the tools, but you're not getting all of the benefit from them that you should. So we hear these three things a lot. And what we do in this assessment is we send an engineer on site and they spend at least a day. The cookie cutter approach, meaning the way that we approach this generically is we send an engineer in for a day. There have been examples when we've sent engineers in for multiple engineers for multiple days, right? Just depends on the complexity and sophistication and the size of the organization. But typically it's one day. And the area here in the blue at the bottom here is just an example of what that agenda might look like. The bottom line is we're going to work with you to figure out who the stakeholders are in your company, the people that we should talk with. And then we're going to do interviews with individuals and groups so that we can ask the right questions, have the right conversations to understand well enough what those problems and opportunities are so that we can make real meaningful recommendations. On the flip side of this document are just more examples that might help you do some thinking about where to point us. So for example, at the top area here, we've got 6 different examples of things people have said to us before, right? That, for example, they're so busy that they turn away business at times. And that's not good, right? So we need to increase engineering output so that we can stop turning away that business. Or perhaps they're interested in managing and mitigating risk associated to market conditions, material costs going through the roof, could be a number of things, but the mode that that company might be in right now is risk mitigation. And we need to know that. So in these deeper discoveries, deeper level discovery sessions, we start to understand these things better. We start to understand what mode you're in and what problems are what things are holding you back. Okay. The bottom half of this document's going into, again, more examples of things we hear when we're out in the field that fall under 1, 2, and 3 from the other side of this document, where you're under the gun, too analog, and or not using all of the tools to their fullest. Okay, so this just helps kind of get the thinking juices flowing, get those gears turning about what some of the things that we've uncovered for other companies might be, so that, again, when we go into the assessment, we'll be prepared as much as we can be to get as much from that day as we can. In the end, once we do this assessment, then we deliver an assessment report. And these look different for every customer. You can see here I've marked out this particular company name. And again, this is just the first page of a report that's typically 20 to 40 pages long. But in this report, basically what you'll see are these different sections. In the first section, we're going to describe in our own words your current state. This is what we saw, this is what we heard when we interviewed the stakeholders. Okay? In the second section, you're going to see more dialogue around our interpretation of the challenges related to that current state, right? So we saw this, we heard that, and our interpretation of that is this. Okay? Then we talk about the financial impact. We try to connect the dots between the current state, the challenges that are related to the current state, and what the financial impact of that is, both with respect to improvements that could be had and opportunities that could be gone after, if you will. Okay? And then we start making recommendations. When we deliver the report to you, what we ask you to do before you jump to the recommendations section is go through, at a minimum, go through sections 1 and 2. In fact, we may even change the way we deliver these reports so that we only deliver sections 1 and 2 prior to us sending the rest of the report. Because if we don't have something right in sections 1 and 2, then the recommendations that we're making later and our analyses later are suspect, right? They're at risk of being, quite frankly, wrong. Okay, so we ask for your feedback in sections 1 and 2. Did we get it right? Do we fully understand the problems, the opportunities? Do we understand the net effect, right? The cause and effect relationships of these things? Are we connecting the dots correctly? If we are, then our recommendations should be sound. If we're off in any way, if we don't quite have it right, then we ask for your feedback early so that we can assess whether we'll change our recommendations or not. Okay? And then in the final section, we create what we call a playbook. This is a very short example of how we might recommend that you move forward with a phased approach, right? We understand from our observations what the challenges are. We understand what the potential financial impact is, both positive and negative. We've made some recommendations, and here's the order in which we would recommend that you implement these recommendations, okay? And this, to us, is the beginning of creating a roadmap. Remember, this is just a report that we deliver to you, and then we talk to you about it. And then we get your feedback and say, okay, that's all well and good, and I like the recommendations. However, we don't have the resources, or we don't have the budget, or this isn't the primary focus right now. Whatever the case may be, we're going to take your feedback and then together build a plan and a roadmap. There's no right or wrong answer. You've paid for this report. Okay, I should have said that earlier. This is a paid service. The letter of understanding is not paid for. That is part of our early engagement model. And but by the time we get to this stage, now you've invested some money and you've received a report that at a minimum you can take from it anything that you like and start executing against that plan in any time frame that you'd like to do that. If you want our help, of course, we're here to help. There may be costs associated to that assistance, depends on what it is. But at a minimum, you should be able to get a strong return on investment from this report, just in terms of building a real a real plan to move forward with or without our help. So if you don't know, DesignPoint is the more is possible company, and that's exactly how we are wired. That is exactly how we hire. That's how we engage with this mindset that more is possible, always. So there were a few questions as we went through this presentation. We're going to collect those questions, and we're going to put some follow-up material together to answer those questions. If you have additional questions, we would ask that you follow up by email or phone, whatever is most convenient for you. Our contact information is here. Let us know if you have any questions at all about the program, about the tools, about the processes that we follow, anything at all related to this. Don't hesitate. We're happy to help. Okay. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to engage with you soon.